Great news. All your favorite comedy podcasts can be enjoyed ad-free on Amazon Music.
Listen to your favorite music, plus top podcasts completely ad-free on Amazon Music, included with your Prime membership.
Dive into a world of laughs by downloading the Amazon Music app for free, or go to amazon.com/ad-free-comedy. That's amazon.com/ad-free-comedy to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Listening on Audible helps your imagination soar. Whether you listen to stories, motivation, expert advice, any genre you love, you can be inspired to imagine new worlds, new possibilities, new ways of thinking. There's more to imagine when you listen. Listening can really lead to positive changes in your mood, your habits, and ultimately your overall well-being. I've been wanting something fun and light for the summer, so I started listening to The Stench of Honolulu by Jack Handey, who, of course, is from Saturday Night Live. We all remember Deep Thoughts. And it's true. I really feel like my imagination is bursting at the seams right now.
As an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases.
New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500. That's audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500.
Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. Parents can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and more. Plus, keep an eye on spending with real-time notifications. Join more than 6 million parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery. That's greenlight.com/Wondery.
Watch what cares what happens when there's so much that happens. Watch what happens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that happens?
Hello, Ben. Welcome back to the island. How are you feeling about our relationship?
I'm feeling pretty good. I was thinking about asking you to close it off, but I haven't written a poem yet, so we're gonna think about it.
No closing off without poems or a dinner or something. I'm gonna need something, Ben.
Actually, closing off does not
close it off with this.
Closing off requires no pageantry. It's more like the boyfriend-girlfriend request. That's the one that requires the poem and the dinner and a waiter from the cast.
Yeah, I like that there's a waiter involved in that. Closing offs don't require anything. I think closing off requires something. I mean, at least like something, you have to say something nice.
You have to say something nice. You definitely have to say something nice, and you have to do it in Soul Ties, ideally, or the Hideaway, I guess. But Soul Ties is the place to go, I think, if you're going to close it off. But that's just a conversation, and then you go and you let boys tell the boys, girls tell the girls. But if you want to like ask someone to be your girlfriend, that's going to involve going to a terrace of some sort. There's going to be a poem. There's sometimes what you might find is kind of like a scavenger hunt where like if the boy is going to ask the girl to be a girlfriend, the girl has to like go to one part of the villa and someone reads like a poem and then says, go to the kitchen. And then they go to the kitchen, they say something nice and they say, now go to the beanbags because that's where you had your first kiss. And they go on like a little journey and they wind up on the terrace. It's actually awful.
This weekend was insane in America. For those of you who are with us in real time, you know it. It was crazy. We don't get too much into politics here, but Trump was shot at. They tried to assassinate Trump. And so, of course, that led me to going down a rabbit hole of, is Trump the Antichrist? Because the Antichrist got a head wound and survived it and all this stuff, all this biblical shit. So anyway, without getting too political, of course, I'm going down that rabbit hole this weekend, and I'm reading all these articles about who the Antichrist is. Then I got caught up on Love Island. Let me tell you who the Antichrist is. It is Harrison. It is Harrison. Okay, and this is why you can tell. He has too much power, okay? Harrison has way too much power, and humanity is just handed over everything. I'm waiting for the world to burn and frogs to fly drop from the sky. Harrison is too gorgeous to live. They bring Harrison on this show. Nobody can even breathe around Harrison. The man has too much power. He can do whatever he wants. He can tell us all to go blow up a school, and we would probably do it because he's that hot, apparently. I've never seen people act like that around a hot person. It's like, have you been to LA? What say you, Ben? I was very confused.
I was surprised at the reaction. I mean, he's like hot. To me, he's like a dollar store Charlie Hunnam. Honestly, they kept on comparing him to Thor. I was like, this is giving more Sons of Anarchy right now to me personally. But they were all like very excited about him. I didn't really think he was like exceptionally hot. I thought he's sort of like standard hot. But you know what? What we don't take into consideration is that he's 6'4". And when he walked in the villa, I thought he was 5'10" for sure. Like he has 5'10" energy, but apparently he's 6'4", and you can actually even see it. You can see all the other guys' heads are like at his jawline. So that was pretty surprising to me. And I was like, that sort of like body and everything on a 6'4" frame would probably be like pretty hot. And it was hilarious watching all the women literally lose their minds. It was like watching the Diet Coke commercial with Lucky Vanus or whatever his name was from the 90s, where he's like the construction worker taking his shirt off and all the women in the office are like fanning themselves. That is how the women reacted to this guy. And I was like, yeah, I mean, he's hot, but like, is he like fanny flutter hot? I'm not sure about that.
There were fluttering, and so were the men. I mean, everybody was just all aflutter. They were falling all over themselves. They did not know how to deal with this person, and it was hilarious. And I'm just telling you, he's like the four horsemen. He's like the four, because not only is he hot, he's also tall. And that's just too much power for one person to have, and he's going to ruin the world. He's going to be the end of the world there. That's my next prediction.
And Australian accent.
And an accent.
And he also, like, on the spectrum of Love Island people, he dresses pretty well. Like he comes in sort of with like man energy, not like he's not like a Kendall, right? He's not a Rob. This is a guy who it seems like he's got a job, he's got a career, he dresses nicely, he goes to like chic parties in Miami. Like that energy just comes off of him in a way that like you're not going to get that. You're not getting that from Aaron. Okay. You're not getting that from Cordell. You're not getting that certainly from Kane. So this guy comes in and the women are like, finally, this is what we've been looking for. And they all want him, despite whatever they say, they all want him.
Well, and even if it's not wanting him, I think the biggest thing is you want to be picked by him, because that is a huge prize to get picked by this guy, because he can have anybody, and they let him know he can have anybody, and he already knows he can have anybody. I mean, the way they're just like, they all surround him, all the girls sit him down, they're all giggling all over themselves, and then Nicole's like, and he goes, oh, wow, look at that, we already got the snort out. I mean, this guy's so fucking full of himself that he's like, okay, yeah, girls start snorting around me, so, okay, got that out. Can we actually have a conversation now? And then they all start, that he's really, besides the fact that they're all fanning themselves, that he's really hot because they all start LinkedIning themselves, which I don't feel like they ever do for each other. I feel like when they meet each other, they're like, I like balls. Like real balls? No, like sports balls, silly. And then they all crack up and make out. But around him, they're like, I specialize in psychology and Germanology, and I'm a data analytical worker for children's entertainment. It's like I've never heard so many resumes being spouted off in like a minute's time.
That is so true. And like that, when Nicole let out that snort, okay, I have a theory about snorts. I don't think snorts are really that natural. They are, to me, a very intentional Vicky Gunvalson-esque ploy to like sort of draw attention, and you can giggle like, oh my God, I'm so silly, whatever. Like when someone snorts, it is an intentional move. And I think that was an intentional move by Nicole. I think Nicole is hot for Harrison.
I think you're coming for me because I snort all the time, but whatever. Have fun with your coming for me.
Not like that. Not the way Nicole snorted around Harrison. And like, that was like, she is hot for Harrison, but she's also knows it's so late in the game. She has a very nice thing going on with Kendall. She knows she would be so mean to do that to Kendall, and like America would hate her. But the truth is, the way she was looking at Harrison, the way she was snorting, I'm like, she is ready to jump his bones.
Well, you want someone like that to just find you attractive too. You know what I mean? Because all these people are hot. So they've all got hot privilege. Some of them, like you can tell, like Kenny was probably hotter later in life once he started working out and stopped getting pushed into lockers so much. Like they're like different levels of hot, but they're all basically worked out and hot on paper. on paper, as they would say. So I think they've all got that going for them. But then when someone just like that's very important to them, you know what I mean? It's like when a bunch of influencers are together and they've all got like 100,000 people and they're making a living, but then they meet someone with like 2 million people and they start falling over themselves. That's kind of like what it is, but with hotness levels, because they've all got hotness, but this guy is like the Jesus of hotness. I'm sorry to keep making it biblical, but I did read a lot of Antichrist stuff this week. So yeah, he's like the ultimate in hotness, and you just want, it's like, I'm hot, but am I hot enough to get, to pull that level of hotness? And so it's almost like everyone's own personal hotness Olympics. Like, how hot am I really? It's like a test.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely all about him, and he gets to take 3 of them out on dates. So he chooses Sierra, Nicole, and Daniela. And I felt the chemistry was really strong with Nicole, but she was like, no, I'm in a relationship with Kendall. And like, what Kendall, of course, he's like a Felix the Cat house clock. His eyes are going left and right the entire time while he's like waiting for Nicole to come back from that date. He's losing his mind. And Harrison winds up only kissing Sierra, and they had like a very nice chemistry. They're very pleasant. Sierra looked like blazing hot. She was like, oh, I am definitely going to upgrade from Kane to this guy, because Kane is just like, I'm so glad Kane's time on this show was short, because he just was awful. And like, not only are you unpleasant to watch, it turns out you're also unpleasant as a person too. So I was so relieved that when Harrison ultimately chose Sierra, that Kane was given a swift and decisive boot.
I felt like Sierra and Harrison's chemistry, I feel like Harrison is really not here for the right reason. I mean, obviously, he's just hot, right? He's just showing up for the paycheck and the fame, whatever. And I don't want to hate on him just because he's hot, but here's what bugged me. I really like Sierra for the most part. I think she's very beautiful. I love that she cried because she didn't get breakfast. Like, that's so relatable. Now, that said, she is doing she's giving him like waiter service, or service, or like, or I would say escort service. I know that's offensive, but I have had friends who do that. And so I see the difference in the personality where you're just like giving service. It's like, hi, how are you? You're beautiful, right? You sure are. You are such a beautiful person. Let's talk about how hot you are. Okay, guess what? I have nothing going on. It's all about you and your personality. Let's just do that. It's like she's working for it. And I think it's fairly obvious that that's what she's doing. And what makes it gross is that he likes that. He doesn't make any effort to take it to a deeper level. He really likes the surface, just somebody complimenting him and letting him move on with his life for this week-long gig.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that as well. I noticed that their conversations were not really about anything in particular. It was like, I really like your earring. It's a really lovely earring. And he's like, well, I really like your earrings. She's like, thank you so much. That really means a lot coming from you. Also, I love your hair. Thank you so much. I've just had this hairstyle for 3 years. 3 years, that's a real big accomplishment. Thank you so much. I was like, okay, they don't really have anything to talk about.
Well, wait a minute. They did have the piercing talk when she said, did you pierce your ears? Why did you only pierce one ear? Did it hurt too bad? And he's like, no. And she goes, well, I pierced my own nipples. So, and he's like, wow. And I was like, oh, wow. These two are basically going to get married now. I mean, that's a lot to share with somebody,
Yeah, I mean, they're just sort of like a filler couple. There's only a few days left of this show, so they'll probably get kicked to the curb. I seem to remember on like over the weekend there was a poll. There's a thing that came out that was like, you can vote for your favorite islanders, and probably the least favorite one is going to get dumped. And the question for me is, who will be the one to get dumped? Because it seems like no one likes Aaron and Kayla right now. Aaron is like a dog. Kayla is annoying. I can't imagine people voting for them. But then again, Harrison and Sierra are so new. I don't know if they really have a fan base enough to keep them around. So who do you think is probably going to get chopped next?
I didn't even consider Harrison as a possibility just because everybody was literally falling all over themselves. I would like to think it's him just because it's like ridiculous. I don't think it's going to be Kayla and Aaron because ultimately they win because they're in a couple. And I think that America looks at that like, oh my God, she cries all the time, but she still loves him. They're so winning, I think that's just how we are. It's like, wow, she sure won that prize. I think that Rob might not be great because Rob and Danielle are pretty boring. I mean, he's hot, but I think that they are obviously not a real couple.
They have no
right?
chemistry.
They're just
Yeah.
Yeah, they have no chemistry. And I know that the editors are trying to make us believe that everyone hates Leah, but I don't know that that's true. I think that they're trying to gaslight us because I fucking love Leah, and I can't imagine that I'm the only one. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it would be hilarious if like Kendall and Nicole got a surprise boot. I don't think they will though. But I don't read anyone online who likes Kendall. Everyone online cannot stand Kendall, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah,
but I think people like Nicole, so they may root for her a little bit. But I, by the way, I have to say Kenny is really going up in my books. I don't know, he is just so sweet. He's just like a sweet, dumb dog, right? Like, you know, just one of those lovely dogs that like runs into walls, but then always comes, you know, galloping up to your side and it just wants to cuddle with you. I think he is. Kenny has really risen in the ranks for me.
I think Kenny kisses everybody's ass to kind of be in the popular group. And I think he will fuck you over when there's something more popular waiting for him on the other side.
Wow.
I feel like he's kind of a nerd hanging out with a different crowd. And I think he'll fuck you over. I mean, we've seen him do it multiple times on this show where he's like supposed to be friends with people and then like, oh, you know, go make out with that girl. You don't know that other girl anything. And I don't know. He just seems to be very easily turned to get popularity points. And I wouldn't trust him. And also, I think he's so in love with Nicole because he's really batting. That's above his weight. You know what I mean? What do you call it when you're boxing above your weight?
Are you talking about Kendall or are you talking about Kenny?
The guy who's with Nicole.
Oh, I'm talking about Kenny who's with Janae.
Oh, sorry, that was Kendall. Sorry, everybody.
No,
sorry.
Kendall's the worst, and yes, you're right about that.
Yeah, I was like, what are you loving Kendall for? Okay,
No
sorry.
way.
Kenny's
right.
fine. You know, Kenny's fine and quiet and hot, and I think that that's enough sometimes. That's all I have to say about Kenny. He's hot and he's quiet.
I was like, wow, this is such a savage read on poor Kenny from Ronnie. But then once you said it was Kendall, I was like, oh yeah, totally great, yeah.
I was so surprised because we disagree on stuff, but not that dramatically. I was like,
could you
wow.
imagine me suddenly being like, but Kendall is so cute? Like, absolutely not.
You literally never know on this show what we're gonna do because we can change our shit right away. But yeah, I was surprised. But yes, you're right. I'm sorry, everybody. Yes,
Everyone's
I meant.
Oh my god, national emergency averted.
Kenny's super nice. Yeah, Kenny. I have no real issue with Kenny. I mean, he's nice. I think he's sweet and he's definitely hot.
Kenny, no real issue. That should just be. That's like his banner. That's his headline. No real issues with Kenny.
Like he's fine. You know, he's fine.
That would be his like Tinder profile. Like he has like a little headline. Kenny, you won't really have an issue with me.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you assume has more going on because he's so quiet. And then when he doesn't, it's like, well, that's still cute. And, you know, Janae is kind of giving little hints of that too, where she's like, okay, how you doing? He's like, good. She's like, I'm going to need more than good. I'm going to need you to say a little bit more than that because that's literally all you do is stare off into space and say one syllable words. And, you know, part of me is like, good luck because that's who he is, you know, but she is kind of like an improv teacher in a way because he is kind of learning to do more than one word at a time. He'll be like, I'm good because a relationship is like, it's something special because then like I'll see you and then like I'll feel like happy about it because like you're there and then I'll like be like, wow, that's her. And she's like, oh my god, Kenny, that is so sweet, Kenny, wow. And then America's like, oh my god, guys, Kenny spoke for 10 minutes, he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. And meanwhile, like a little drip of saliva is just kind of foaming down his chin.
You watched After Sun. I watched about a minute of it just to see what Katie Maloney was gonna be like on it, and I was like, okay, got it. How was After Sun? You watched the whole episode, right?
I had never seen After Sun before. It made me uncomfortable because it's just people coming on and going like, what do you think of this couple? That couple's attractive. The couple is attractive. Maybe they have a choice. Maybe they have a chance to love each other. And they just keep laughing. And I'm not really sure what they're laughing at. It's kind of bizarre. And then Ariana comes, and her new personality is super weird to me because she just keeps doing that like Bachelor girl. It's like people from The Bachelor or this show, like young dating shows where they start grabbing their hair and kind of pulling their hair while they talk. Ariana's never done that before, but now she's got that move where she's like, yeah, like I really like being here, and like she keeps like doing the hair pull. So it's like an alternate reality. I'm not sure who anybody is or what's happening, but it was fun. And then Katie came on, of course, because she's Katie, and I mean, come on. Katie's not going to change. No one needs Katie to change, but like here Katie comes in a fluorescent pink flapper dress. It was the weirdest thing, but of course it's Katie, so it's like Katie fashion. So she came in that. What I found interesting was the amount of youth on the show, because I'm old. So comparatively, guys, comparatively. I know there's people who are older than me, don't get offended, but I mean, comparatively, I'm old to be watching the show, I feel like. Because the people on it like are less than half my age, some of them. So like I'm old, but then Katie is a lot younger than me, but I still felt like they looked at her like she was really old, because she would sit there and give her opinion, and then they just looked at her. Like one of the guys was saying, yeah, I like that Kenny really didn't have anything with that girl yet. They'd only known each other for a couple of days. So then he went off, and you got to see how you work with other people. So he wasn't closed off yet. So he went in and tried to work it out with that girl, and so I don't think that she had a right to really be mad at him. And Katie's like, no, sir. And he's like, what you mean? And Katie's like, a girl wants to be chosen, which is true, right? And I think I said that we probably said the exact same thing when it happened. Like, someone wants to be chosen. It's not very flattering when you bring somebody else back to that. Like, I agree, but the way they looked at Katie when she said that.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Listening on Audible helps your imagination soar. Whether you listen to stories, motivation, any genre you love, you can be inspired to imagine new worlds, new possibilities, new ways of thinking. Maybe you'll find inspiration in the incredible true story of Black female mathematicians at NASA in Hidden Figures, or the fantasy world of Throne of Glass. There's more to imagine when you listen. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text imagine to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text imagine to 500-500.
And then Katie was like, another time she was like, listen, guys, I think they were talking about Kaylor and Aaron. And she's like, oh my God, a guy who doesn't fight for you, or something like that. She goes, guys, I married my Aaron. Okay. I married him. So take me as a cautionary tale. Do not marry your Aaron. And then blah, 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 and then get divorced. And they were just looking at her like, how old are you? Someone who's not only been married, but also been divorced? Disgusting. Like, what is she even doing here? So that was my big takeaway. I was like, oh my God, how old am I? Because these people are like on a different planet from anybody over the age of 30,
That sounds like the wisest thing that Katie has ever said. Like the most profound thing that Katie Maloney has said. I married my Aaron. She is absolutely right. She did marry her Aaron.
Yeah, she did.
Everyone
she sure
learned
did.
from Katie. Katie Maloney has been down the Aaron path before, and it is not a good one.
They don't grow up.
They don't grow up. It's funny to me also because Maura Higgins is the host of After Sun. And she's also she's gonna be I think she's gonna be on tonight's episode of Love Island UK. I think she is going to be delivering the chop, the latest chop, which is funny because you would think it would be Ariana. But what's funny to me is that Maura is so bubbly on After Sun. She's like, hi, I'm Maura Higgins and welcome to After Sun. It's a crazy day. It's been a crazy week and we're going to all catch up on it. It's so exciting here on After Sun. But the truth is, if you saw Maura Higgins on her original season of Love Island UK, oh my God, she was so fantastic. she just comes in. She was like the Liv of her season. Like if people tried to start with her, she just thrashed them down with her tongue. She is absolutely amazing. And like there's part of me that wants you to watch her season so you can see Maura in all of her true glory. Like it makes me sad that you only see this like infotainment version of her.
Well, I love her. And she is kind of weird, like kind of a weird robot, but I think that's just the name of the game. You know what I mean? It's like just, they're like, be happy, smile a lot, and laugh a lot. And so they just do it. But she also does this thing with her hands where she does bye-byes like this, where she just like, she's clapping her own hands with her hands. I don't know how to explain it. Like, like chip clipping, giant jumbo bag chip clipping with her hands. But yeah, I liked her. I thought Katie did a pretty good job on After Sun, which was cool to see. It was like Auntie Katie coming to give advice that people weren't really ready to hear. I liked that. And then the one last night was just a big game, right? It was like the love games because Paris is coming soon. So they did some game stuff. So I could tune out for most of that because, you know, whether it's going to be real sports, fake sports, bachelor sports, Love Island sports, my ass is not watching that.
I mean, there was the little perk of watching Miguel in those gold pants. I mean, they revealed a lot.
Oh yeah,
they revealed a lot. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But
were there like wiener outlines in that? I guess I'd need to go back.
Yeah. Miguel, mainly Miguel's. Miguel's was. I was like, sir. But,
well, Rob doesn't skip leg day. I'll tell you that much. Because Rob, I was like, Robertson,
Rob is still hot. For as awful as he is still unfortunately very hot. But
yeah,
this is also we've got a week left of Love Island, and it's been a tremendous season. My only concern is that towards the end of Love Island seasons, they tend to pivot into the love aspect more because they need to, you know, sell the concept of the show that people find true love. So we might be due for a lot of really groan-worthy dates and romantic moments as opposed to the stuff that we all love instead, which is drama. But it's still going to be very funny to watch. And the ratings are through the roof. It is the #1 reality show on TV right now. It's like doubled its ratings since last year. It's across all streaming platforms, it's #1. And finally, there's some ink being spilled about this, which is that Rolling Stone just came out with a profile like over the weekend about the show, which is really interesting. They talk about how they make Love Island. I really recommend everyone go and read that. Glamour just had a thing about it. So it's cool that now like all of a sudden people are taking note of it. And I think honestly, like all credit goes to Bravo fans. Like I think having Ariane on that show and bringing us all into it, and now we talk about it on our podcast and put it on all of our Instagrams. And when I say our, I mean all of our, like the Bravo content creators. It was the smartest thing. It's bigger than ever. And I have to say, like, it's just a testament to like us Bravo fans that we can really, I feel like we really can make or break a show. So, you know, go us, right? Go us.
Also, I would like to predict that Bravo will start doing this kind of stuff. This will be their next move, will be this love type shit on Bravo, because they've needed something since Below Deck is kind of their last successful thing. So I think they tried this dating show with that like long distance, like 90 Day Fiance or whatever that was, that ripoff last year that didn't work. But I think they'll probably try it, you know?
Yeah,
so
Divorcee Island. How about that? Like put people in who are in their like late 30s. And see them on this show and see how it's different. I would love that.
Well, also, listen, a Golden Bachelor did great. That was a good show.
Yeah.
I only watched a couple episodes of that, but that was great. I mean, people still act the same in their 50s as they do in their 20s, as far as like just wanting to be picked and crying all the time. So yeah, do it, Bravo, do it.
I totally
so
agree.
How did this week end, Ben? Let's see here. Aaron had date night where he asked Kayla to be his girlfriend. So he made some pasta for her, and she like cried because that's how that goes. And then Kenny and What's-Her-Buns closed it off, guys. They closed it off. And it was pretty big because she was willing to close it off with somebody, even though I'm not perfect. Like, for example, I don't know how to cook with spices.
Yeah, I like that. She goes, it's not a con that you can't cook with seasoning. It's just something we have to work on. That was my favorite line of probably the whole weekend.
That was so fucking funny. I woke up laughing about it today. And then in the game, they were throwing water balloons at each other's heads, and Harrison was terrible at it, first of all. But then he kept going, oh my God, I missed. That's so online. That is so online. What does that mean?
I have no idea, but then they kept on throwing water balloons at Sierra. Because I'm not Sierra, Serena, because she was in the highest value spot, and Serena was not happy about it at all. She was getting very angry.
I liked that Janae was like, okay, I know you don't know her, but you're not going to want to be throwing water balloons at her head. You've chosen the wrong one, sir. Welcome to the Tuesday, July 16th, Love Island Mini. Ben, how do you feel about Love Island last night? It's a big one. It was the bombshell. It was the strip show and the bombshell.
Yeah, so this it was a very it was a good episode. I have to say, the striptease heart race challenge is part of the Love Island season. They do it every season. It happens. I'm actually like on UK. I've gotten kind of bored with it because it's always the same thing. They come out, they dance, they're in sexy costumes or whatever. But that's because I think I've realized now after watching last night's episode that like, God bless the people in the UK, but they do not know how to get dirty and nasty like these Americans did. Because honestly, I was watching those men do those stripteases and I was like, holy shit. Miguel, I'm still thinking about that moment when he grabbed fire. He put his hand in the fire pit and then went and grabbed Leah by the neck and made out with her with his fire hand. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I didn't even know that was something that would turn me on. And I was like, oh Lord.
Yeah, I didn't. I was like, that's dangerous.
It was dangerous, but it was also like,
it's like, watch out. That girl's
like,
hot.
wow.
Please don't hurt. Please don't damage that girl. A lot of it, I was like, there's so much about like growing up insecure, like not, we were talking about it a little bit earlier, not like just like worked out and just have that kind of stereotypical hotness or whatever. Like, for example, I didn't learn to twerk. You know what I mean? Like that just wasn't a thing. I mean, look, there was dancing, but I don't even think I did any of that. And I know twerking is like a newer thing. Obviously we didn't have that when I was a child, but just seeing all these people who know how to twerk, like that's just in their system. They know how to move their ass like that. All the guys know how to move like total Magic Mike strippers. Like every single one of them. I was like, do you work at Revolver? Like every single, actually, you look too interested to work at Revolver. You know, it's probably an old reference, but anyway, I was just like, wow, these people are so in touch with their sexuality. I'm like way too repressed to be on this earth. Like, I just feel like someone should come pick me up and take me to a junkyard, basically.
I would not be able to do that challenge, but that's because also like, you know, I would be self-conscious, but I think that maybe if I had a body like Kenny's or Miguel's, maybe I would get more into it. But like, I think Kenny and Miguel, to me, of the men, were the best strippers. Kenny, he was twerking. He had those hips were moving, and he was actually, I mean, I've been saying how he's been going up in my book, and he did that rare thing where he was like extremely sexy, but he was also kind of funny. Like, I feel like Kenny in that football uniform, he took on a new persona, and he was in it, and he was like sweating and shiny, and his hips were going. I was like, Kenny, wow.
Well, as the great Erica Girardi once said, I'm a showman, Dorit. And I think that's where Kenny was coming from with that, because, wow, yeah, I was the same way. And also that personality, I don't know where he got that, but keep that man in the jock strap at all times. I mean, he's like a completely different human being.
I know.
He seemed like totally happy. There was all the insecurity was gone. And there was another really good moment with him where he like closed it off or got a fish or whatever with Janae. And I guess they boned the bone room. And then they separate, and the guys tell the guys about it, and the girls tell the girls about it, and the girls are like, ugh, and then the guy's like, bro. And when he was telling the guys about it, he was smiling in this beaming way, and they were like, wow, bro, you're like really beaming, you're like, your eyes are literally gleaming. And they were. Then they cut to his eyes, and like they were gleam lights were coming out of his eyes, like shooting out of his eyes. I thought that was so cute.
It was. And Miguel goes, you came in as Kenny, you left as Kenneth. And it was true. He was beaming. He was happy. I thought Kenny did a great job. Miguel, obviously, nothing more needs to be said. He grabbed that fire. I mean, Miguel did exactly what we expected. We knew that Miguel was going to be the biggest hoe in the striptease, right? Like we see it a mile away, and he like fully lived up to it. He did a great job. I feel like Kendall tried to do what Kenny did. Kenny was like, I'm gonna be sexy, but I'm gonna like step into this character and I'm gonna be in it. And Kendall came out and he was like, and I was like, oh, please stop. I mean, he did look really good,
just trying too hard,
but he tried so hard. He just tried so hard.
And I do think that that's a fetish of people. Like, there are some people who like people who try too hard. You know what I mean? Like, get my coffee, or boss him around, like a submissive, I guess you would say. But just the try hardiness of it. Yeah, I felt kind of bad for him.
It was too much. It was like very Monica Seles, and I was like, I can't. Like, no, Kendall, no.
Well, this episode opened super weird because, they're so dramatic, of course. That's not weird. It's a reality show. But it opens up and it's like, everything has been so sweet. And he just said it in this way, like, and then shit went to hell, and then horror music starts playing. And then they show Kenny coming out of the boom boom room. And I'm like, oh my God, did Kenny have a tiny one? Like... Is that the twist? Because they made it like a horror movie and Kenny was involved. And I was like, oh my God, please tell me this is the small penis episode. I'm here for it. But then, everything was fine. There's no horror at all, except that Maura Higgins is coming,
Yeah. Maura Higgins. We'll get to her in a moment. But the episode started off, everyone's in a happy place. We had this great scene with Kayla and Aaron, and they're lying on the bench, and Kayla's like, it's gonna be like so weird when you come to like the USA. Like, do you know what Trader Joe's is? He's like, no, what's that? Supermarket? Have you had frozen yogurt? Yeah. Have you had a donut? Yeah. How about a soft pretzel? What? And the best part was it was like close up on her face like this, and she's like, hey, do you know about Trader Joe's? I was like, oh.
Have you ever even been to Trader Joe's? Yeah, that was pretty funny. And then she said, were they the ones talking about pretzels? And then he's like,
yeah,
fold like a pretzel, and then that'd be hot. You could fold like a pretzel. I was like, you guys just quit while you're slightly behind, That was pretty good. And then Janae's whole like, Kenny, I knew you were gonna play with my feet, Kenny, are we gonna meet each other's mommies, Kenny? I felt really bad because in the stripper challenge, they all had to pick who made their heart race the fastest. Well, wait, do they have machines on them that are counting their heart rate?
They have like Fitbits or something. They've got a wearable of some sort. They've got a heart monitor.
Oh, okay. I just feel like kind of a pervert watching them strip because they're like children to me. I'm like, this is like watching daycare people strip. Like, I'm not doing it. So I like scrolled on my phone. So I was like, wait, how did they know their heart rate? So sorry, I missed part of it. But I felt bad when they were like, everybody's heart rate was raised by so-and-so. And Janae didn't get any heart. No one's heart rate was raised the most by Janae. How is that possible? She was amazing. Also,
yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a butt twerk like that. I mean, that was like, I think that butt went in like 20 different ways. I don't know. I think maybe she was too professional. Like in karaoke when people sing too professionally and then everyone's annoyed. They're like, that's not fair. You're from Broadway, And I think that that's why people didn't get heart raced from her, because her twerk was too professional. It was too good.
Well, also you had to compete with someone like Leah. Leah at one point literally like grabbed someone's crotch and like started to like reach into the zipper. So like, it's difficult. It's hard to compete with that.
True.
And also true. And by the way, this has been an ongoing issue for Miguel. Like there was a whole scene of them like talking and making out, and then like he gets a boner and he's like, oh, please, like you can't walk away right now. Just sit there for a moment. It needs to go down. Oh, stop kissing me. It's going up again. It's going up, doing the opposite. Please stop kissing me. I've got a boner.
Well,
great.
I think she was very smart in her heart race challenge because she went straight for porn. Like she really,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was being sexy, but she went for the straight stereotypical literal porn character of like, I am a doctor. Like she even had the bad acting part of porn down where it's like, I'm a bad doctor who needs me to take their temperature. Like even laughing with bad acting. And I think guys are so they're so used to porn that you hear like
triggers.
porn acting. Yeah, it's like
You hear, like-
Pavlov's
Yeah, exactly.
wiener. It's like Pavlov's dick, you know?
Yeah. One thing that did not create a Pavlovian response for me was Aaron showing up dressed as an angel. He shows that, or Cupid, really. I'm sorry, a Cupid or an angel, whatever it is. He comes out, and I was like, after everyone's been like really writhing and super sexual, then Aaron comes out in his little toga, and I was like, no, this isn't gonna work. You're out of your class here, and it's nothing to do with like his body or anything. It's just like Aaron's like little boy thing. It was already so like, everything was so sexy and sex forward. It's just, I didn't want to see his like little boy shtick doing a striptease whatsoever. It made me like really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I scrolled through a lot of that because I have respect. So,
Yeah.
Aaron and Rob finally had the talk we all knew was coming, which was the Rob on a dock. I've been thinking more like she likes me more than I like her. Yeah, Rob, we know, yeah. Rob. And, he's just practicing his breakup basically with Aaron. And I thought that this was kind of forward thinking of Rob when he said, well, not forward thinking, but this was deeper than I thought Rob could go when he said, she's actually like people pleasing me too much.
Listen, he was never into her in the first place. He only brought her to see the chaos that would unfurl if he brought her back to the villa with Aaron and Kaylor. I guarantee that's the only reason why he brought her.
But nobody wants to date a constant waiter. Well, maybe some people do. You know what I mean? But just that whole, like, what can I do for you? It's all about you. It's not, everything's about you. Like, yeah, you have to kind of maintain some of yourself because I think it just bores people. You know, men and women, I think, get bored with that.
Yeah, but like while he's on the dock talking to Aaron about how he's sort of gotten the ick, Daniela is sitting at the breakfast bar and talking to the girls and talking about how, guys, I think I like really like him a lot. Like I just like really, really, really like him, and like I think I'm developing feelings. So you're watching this, you're like, okay, this will be great because she is now deciding to give herself over to Rob, and he's decided he wants nothing more with her. So inevitably,
that was harsh. Yeah,
it's sad.
And then of course you're talking to Sierra too, who's wearing those giant Gucci glasses, and she's just saying these little pat things like, yeah. Cause like you guys are like, you're like guys together. Like you're like together. And like when I see you together, I'm like, they're like together. Like, you know what? Opposites attract. So I'm like, are you going to say anything? Like, does she ever say anything?
She doesn't. No, she doesn't.
But she does it so well. Like I really actually like her. It's not until I write stuff down that I'm like, did she even say anything? What the hell is she talking about?
So then, of course, Rob brings Daniela upstairs, not related to Soul Ties, to sort of like Soul Ties adjacent. And he's like, yeah, so I need to talk to you. And she's like, okay.
And you gotta watch out whenever Rob starts showing you his armpits, because that's what he did. He immediately was like, pink, like, here's my little baby armpit hairs. You're about to get emoted on.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Okay, it's time to commit. 2024 is the year for prioritizing yourself. Begin your new smile journey with Byte, and you could start seeing results in just 2 to 3 weeks. Just order your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95 at Byte.com. Byte clear liners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces, plus they offer financing options, accept eligible insurance, and you could pay with your HSA, FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
Go ahead, Ben. Take it away.
He's like, I feel bad. I think, I don't think that this is like working out anymore. I think dead like you and me. I think we're in different places. I really like you a lot. I just wish I liked you a little bit more. I wish you were someone else. I wish you had a different face and different personality.
How do I live without you?
And she's like,
I want to know.
I'm a big girl. It's fine. It's fine. I'm a big girl. I can handle it. It sort of feels like a breakup. Yeah, because it is.
So funny.
When he said that, it's like, yeah, Danielle, what else would it be? He's like, yeah.
So he's dumping her, right? So he gives this whole monologue. And she leans on him. She's like laying on her stomach, and then she puts her hands on her face, or her hands under her chin, like she's like at a girl, like girl talk. And then she's staring deeply into his eyes, and then he's staring deeply into her eyes. And she's like, "Yeah, so it's like breaking up." And he goes, "Yeah, it is." She's like, "Yeah," and she just keeps staring at him, and he's like, "So, what I was thinking is like we're not right together." So then he does it again. He gives her another monologue, and she just lies there and keeps staring at him. And the song even probably had to change. It was like, I'm all creep, I'm all weirdo. And she's just still staring at him, and he breaks up with her for another 10 minutes, and then she still won't get up and walk away. And this guy is like, "You can go now," and she still stays there like he's reading her a romantic poem.
This went on for so long, and so then she goes, and then she finally is like, "Oh, I guess." When she says, this feels like a breakup." It's like, girl, what do you think this is? The national anthem? No, yeah, it's a breakup. So then she finally goes and she sits with Sierra, and Sierra's like, "So was it a good conversation, or was it a bad conversation?" And she's like, "It was bad." And she says, like, Rob broke up with her. She goes, "Oh my God, that came like totally out of like left field. Like, that's like wild." I was like, what part of left field was that? Rob has been nothing but disinterested in Daniela since she came into the house. Like, they attempt to sort of sit next to each other, but like these two had never had chemistry.
I mean, but here's the thing, like someone like Rob really knows how to get to every demographic, because he just kind of sits there. She walks off, and then of course he tries to cry because it's about his feelings, like, which I guess is his move, where he's like, "Look how sensitive I am, about to cry." And then he just sits there for a long moment and just goes, "I'm such a fucking donut." And I was like, that's all you needed to say. Like, I love you forever now. Like, now I can cosplay.
Big donut episode. Big donut episode.
It's big on carbs this episode. And he's like, "God, I'm so bad at Love Island. Jesus Christ."
Yeah. Rob is lucky, actually, because he's one of the few men in the villa that was not subjected to Kendall's terrible fade work. Did you notice they all have terrible fades? Because like the day before, Kendall like was doing like a barbershop thing, and he's like, "Yeah, I totally learned how to do cut my own hair during the pandemic, so now I can cut people's hair." And they all have the shittiest fade now. It's awful.
In the future, when we're doing like, remember back to, and by the way, we know the pandemic is like, we know COVID is still a thing. I just mean back when people were in lockdown. Okay, let's say that.
I should say lockdown.
So, because people get very upset, like, it's still happening. We know. Okay, we're talking specifically about lockdown. But when lockdown happened, I think when we're making jokes about that in the future, and we're like, "Oh my God, remember lockdown fashion?" And then everyone's in jogging pants. I think terrible haircuts are going to be one of the things that people make fun of. Like, we just all looked fucking crazy during that. I mean, everybody had crazy hair during that time because everybody was doing their own, and just the roots down to the ears and all that stuff. But Kenny does not know how to cut hair, but Kenny does know how to gossip. And so I think he knows that a barbershop, damn it. I think he knows that a barbershop. I know, but
that's the only reason I'm correcting you. That's the only reason I'm
glad you want her.
I would hate for you to put Kendall stink on Kenny. That's all.
I did it yesterday. I did a whole monologue yesterday. So sorry, everybody, Kendall. But Kendall just likes to gossip, and he just knows that bartenders are going to get that goss. So he's like, I'll just cut everybody's hair. Poorly.
Very poorly. So anyway, they do this the striptease challenge. It's very wild. And then the big twist, which happens often in this challenge, is that after the women are all done doing their stripteases, then comes a bombshell, a surprise bombshell. It's someone named Cassie who was on a previous season. Again, I haven't really watched Love Island USA too judiciously over the past few years, so I didn't recognize her, but she came in and they're like, oh my God, it's Cassie. And then she wound up doing a really big lap dance on Miguel's lap. And then she has his hands like all over his boobs. I'm sorry. She has on her boobs, not his boobs. Because imagine he's just like, oh yeah, this is hot as he feels himself up. But his hands are all over his boobs. So unsurprisingly, his heart rate is raised the most by her. And the significance of this is that moments after Cassie comes in, then in walks Maura. And so she walks in, she's like, hello everyone. Today we're going to find out whose heartbeat was raised the highest by other people's heartbeats. So Miguel's is raised higher by Cassie than Leah. And this is actually going somewhere, which is that then after this entire challenge is done, the public has been voting. And the three couples who are the least favorite, please come up here and stand by me. So it winds up being Kayla and Aaron, Rob and Daniela, and Harrison and Sierra are in the bottom three of most popular couples. And I will get back to the Miguel thing in 1 second, but
oh my God, poor
I just covered a lot of territory. I wanted to get your thoughts on all this stuff.
Kayla and Aaron looked absolutely shocked that they are not America's sweethearts, and I LOL'd. Like I couldn't help it.
We all LOL.
You know, they're stereotypical. They're like the stereotypical choice for that, and I think they're doing the whole shtick of like he hurts her, but she loves him, and they're like we all knew this in high school. We all knew this couple, and I think that they're just assuming that things are just the same, and they're just going to automatically take this, and America's like, no, sorry.
Like, enough of you two.
Yeah.
A lot of people on Twitter were actually there were a bunch of things going up about how in the sports day, a lot of people were thanking Miguel and Leah for botching their canoe thing, so that way the gold team lost. They're like, thank you for losing, because this way Aaron and Kayla did not get to go into the hideaway. Thank you for sparing America for that.
Yeah, nobody needs to see that for sure. Yeah, those two are okay. You know, like I think they're fine. I mean, Aaron's just such a goofball that even at this point, here's one thing that struck me about the whole show. I was watching. It was kind of towards the end of it, and I was like, it's weird seeing something and kind of liking everybody, because usually it's just in my personality. I think just when you watch a show, it's natural. You like some people, you don't like some people. But on this, I kind of like everybody. Like even the total douchebags. I don't feel any hatred. Like Kendall gets on my nerves, but I still like ultimately like him at the end of the day. Like Rob, really I think is a douchebag, but I still like he's just so goofy. I mean, I like them. I like everybody on it actually, which is weird. It makes me uncomfortable, honestly.
Yeah, I like a lot of them too. And Serena and Cordell, I love now that Cordell's out of the doghouse, his like personality has kind of like returned to what it was pre-Casa Amor, which I really like a lot. I like a lot of them too. I love Miguel. I think Miguel's great. Love Leah. I love so many of them. Janae, Kenny. But so now they're in the top. The bottom three couples are standing up there, and Maura says the safe Islanders have to choose one of those couples to save, and she says, save the couple that you think is the most compatible. And I hate that the phrasing was most compatible, because, I mean, obviously Kayla and Aaron are going to win that because they're like a couple that's functional. Sierra and Harrison are too new. Rob just broke up with Daniela. So like Kayla and Aaron are probably going to win that. I wish it was just like save a couple, because if it was just save a couple, they could have used the logic of, well, Harrison and Sierra are just starting and it seems like they've got something, so we want to save them so that way they can build it, because Kayla and Aaron, you guys are well on your way, so you guys can leave and be off together, Well, I think what they're going to do is they're going to save Kayla and Aaron, and not only because of how it's worded, but I learned from watching The Bachelor for so many years that people look at these dating shows as like actual work. Yeah.
Like people who are in it, like consider it an actual profession. And I know on The Bachelor, they tell each other, like, you don't deserve to be here. You're not here for the right reasons. Like they all judge who really wants to be there and who's really working hardest for it. It's like HR. Like, how bad do you want this job? Everybody else is staying late. Why aren't you staying late? But it has to do with like your private parts on these shows. And I think that everybody is looking at it like Kaylor and Aaron have really put in the work. He's made her cry a lot. She's cried a lot. He's acted like a douchebag, but then kind of redeemed himself. He gave her a seashell necklace. They do a lot of doc talks. They do a lot of I think that they add all this stuff up in their head like it's a job. And I think ultimately they're going to be like, well, they've been at it the longest and they deserve the gold watch.
Yeah, I think they're going to be saved. There is maybe an outside idea, like maybe Cassie will say, "Listen, I would like to get to know Rob. He's basically single. Aaron and Kaylor, they're the most compatible, but they are set, and I would like the chance to get to know Rob." So maybe Rob and Daniela get like a last minute reprieve, and maybe the producers would want that too, because like Rob's kind of the star somehow. So there is that outside shop. But if Kaylor and Aaron wind up staying and Rob goes home, the reason why I mentioned the heartbeat thing about Miguel is that a lot of people on Twitter are fearing that Cassie gets to choose someone and that she's going to choose Miguel and Leah might go home as a result of it. And so that is like the big, like nail biting theory that is pretty reasonable theory.
Miguel doesn't seem like he would mind that, I have to say.
Miguel won't care. I think he'd like Leah, but he won't care.
I think he likes her, and I think they have cute chemistry as far as like being friends and stuff. And I can see that they have chemistry, but he loved it. And they all did, it's tricky, like getting people gyrating on you. Like, what are they supposed to pretend they don't love it? Like, of course, but he did seem to like love it more. And I mean, his heart rate, so who knows? Like, he doesn't seem to be that loyal to any one person. So we'll see how that goes. But people were saying that maybe he'll end up with someone, she'll maybe somehow end up with Rob again, but I don't know the game well enough to know how that would work.
Yeah, we're going to have to see, but we do know that Rob and Aaron are going to finally officially be separated. And in the previews for tonight's episode, we see Aaron, tears streaming down his face, which again, never happened, not once, when he thought that he might lose Kaylor forever.
Oh, he tried it a couple of times, but they never really popped out. He got like the base tears, but he never got the full.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our Love Island mini recap for Wednesday, July 17th. We're talking about last night's show. Last night's Love Island is really the Tuesday show. It's Wednesday today. I'm Ben. That's Ronnie. Ronnie, how are you doing? How's everything going in the Love Island universe for you?
Mora's here. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Hello. Let's see which couple is the most compatible.
Who do you think is the most compatible couple? Mora's accent is the best.
She has a great one. Yeah. Who do you think is the most compatible? It's hot. And of course, she's like, who's the most compatible couple? And then it just cuts to Aaron giving Rob puppy eyes and then Rob giving Aaron puppy eyes. These guys are the most compatible and do not want to be torn apart. And I just wish they would have like, I don't know, they have like a boom boom room or a hideaway or whatever. I just wish they would have that like straight guy room where straight guys go and just, I don't know, pretend they're straight while they like fondle each other or something. I don't know, like a porn movie, because these two really need to make out. Like, I'm over it.
Yeah, they are like, especially Aaron. Aaron is obsessed with Rob. So it's our big showdown. Someone has to go home, or two couples are going to go home basically. And who do you think are the most compatible? So
it's very serious because everybody just keeps going, fuck, oh my fucking fuck, God, fuck,
this
man.
is fucked.
Fuck, bro. It's fucked, bro. I mean, Jesus, this is a lot of effing. These people say fuck more than me.
Yeah, they really
I'm
do.
even clutching my little pearls. There's a lot of just like, fuck.
So the Safe Islanders, they get into a little huddle and there's a lot of whispering like, this is fucked, but they came here for the right reasons, but they found love. This is fucked.
Yep. And then she starts, Miguel is the one to announce it. He's like, no matter what this couple went through, they cried together, and they were together, and they cried, and they made it through the crying, and they would fight, and then they would make it through the fighting. And then you just see Kaylor smile like, yes, my crying worked. She's like, finally, my performance paid off. And they are, of course, saved, which we all knew it, because they are putting in the work of crying and fighting a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Kaylor has been crying over time. I feel like we also forgot to mention how when Liv went home, the next day, Kaylor woke up and was in bed, and the first thing she does is starts to cry and goes, I miss Liv. I was like, really? You just woke up and you're already crying. That's just not fair.
That's all she does. That's all she It's like DoorDash is on its way. Oh my God, my DoorDash just left the restaurant. It's on its way to me. This thing is so sweet, Aaron. This is so nice.
So, of course, they're saved, but now it's...
but it's not just her crying. It's also Rob crying, waiting to see if the other guy is going to get saved. Like, they're both crying for each other. Like, what's going to happen if you had taken away from me, brah? But yes, Kaylor and Aaron are saved. And then Aaron starts sobbing harder than we've ever seen him because he gets to say, oh, no, because Rob is leaving. He thinks that Rob is leaving. So he starts sobbing.
Sobbing more than he...
Notebook.
Yeah.
It's like a Notebook level, you guys.
Once again, more tears are shed at the idea of Rob leaving than the idea that he may lose his girlfriend. So he is sobbing, and his fucking little angel outfit is driving me nuts. And Rob is giving this, like, he's doing this thing like, it's all right, man. It's all good. I'll see you very soon. I'll see you right out of this villa. I'll see you soon, bro. And Aaron's like, he's crying off to the side. And then Maura's like, but there might be a lifeline if you think about it. And so they're like, what's the lifeline? It's like, Cassie, you get to choose between Harrison and Rob. Who you would think you want to, who you want to couple up with. So,
and then Cassie's like, well, I think I've got to pick it because I want to couple up with this boy because our time was cut short last time. And I was like, oh my God, is it Rob? Because he's the shorter of the two, because Harrison's very tall. So I was like, is this wordplay? And it is Rob. It is Rob. And Harrison just gives this lost look like, but I'm tall and I'm the hottest one. Does that mean nothing to any of you people?
Harrison's like, but I love being near the ocean and the beach. I came all this way for that, and you're going to take it away from me. It's not fair.
But my eyes are the color of an aquarium. How is everyone going to send me home? How is this possible? And then Aaron literally, when he hears that Rob is safe, tries to jump in Rob's arms.
He does.
Kaylor has to hold him back and sit him down like a mom at a stoplight. Just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't jump out of the car.
It's so true. Ronnie is not exaggerating. Aaron leaps up and Kaylor has to like control him. And he's like pumping the air. Like he's like, yes, yes, yes. I mean, like, again, emotions that are purely reserved for Rob and no one else, not even the girl that he allegedly loves.
She stopped him, and then he's still standing on the couch next to her, so he starts humping her shoulder because he's that excited. Like, it is how is nobody else like, can we just put Rob and Aaron together? Like, how has nobody else come up with this idea?
I know. So what this means is that Daniela has to go home, and also Harrison, and also Sierra, who's like, thank you so much. I had a really wonderful time meeting all of you, and it was just like such a wonderful time and wonderful experience, and I have no regrets about anything that happened, and I met some great friends for life, and I'll see you on the other side.
And then fucking Daniela cannot stop trying to stare into Rob's eyes. Daniela, it's over, okay? It is over. The fucking credits have gone. She's like sitting there at the end of a Marvel movie waiting to see if they show Thor one last time. Like, Daniela, it's over, you know?
That's so much
she
of her.
keeps staring into his eyes like, well, I guess this is goodbye. He's like, yep, broke up with you already. But don't you want to say goodbye? He's like, no, I don't want to say goodbye. Just fucking go. What the hell? It's like she's like a cat and he's got treats in his eyes. She's just like staring at him hypnotically. Lady, get on the bus.
And then she's also crying too, because she's like, I just feel bad that like it was because of me that Aaron and Kayla were in the bottom right. I was like, it was not because of you.
Yeah, what did that mean?
because she made out with Aaron. It's not your fault, okay? And she's like, I just feel like I came here and I feel like I really humiliated myself here. And they're like, no, you didn't. I was like, no, a little bit, a little bit.
Well, no, more than anybody else. I think it's just humiliation is in the eye of the beholder, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, she shot her shot as everyone else has, and like you said, not more than anyone else has. I think she just only humiliated herself because, like, I personally would be embarrassed to make out with Aaron, and that's all. But that's not like she's not a bad person because of it, you know. She fell for the love bombing of that moment.
Yeah. I don't think she has anything to feel.
It's not slut shaming.
I mean, listen, it's Aaron shaming. I think that you're on this show. It's about making out with people and finding out who you're supposed to be with. I mean, she's just doing what she's supposed to do. Aaron's not ugly or anything. He's just a douchebag. You know, how is she supposed to know that? It's his first day there, you know?
Yeah, she doesn't know. So anyway,
well, she didn't know when she was making out with him. She just met him because it was at Casa.
And listen, she leveled right up to Rob, and Rob is like one of the hottest guys in the villa. So like, it worked out.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought maybe she felt stupid for that, for getting, you know, dumped by Rob, because nobody wants to not be picked, and I get that.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
that's not embarrassing. You know,
I feel that way I feel sorry for her, like I do for Earl Grey ice cream. I went to this ice cream place last night and they had Earl Grey, and I was like, no one is picking you. You know what I mean? Sorry, Daniela.
I think I would pick Earl. No, I'm not. I'm going to taste it, but I'm never going to choose it.
I feel like you would. I feel like you would pick it just to be like, I had Earl Grey. You just like to have that.
Say it just like that. Ronnie, hi. What's up? Welcome to What's Happened. I had Earl Grey ice cream last night. No, I think you're right. I think
you would get off on it for just to say you've had it, but then after, in the privacy of the Uber, you'd be like, can I tell you something? I didn't like that Earl Grey ice cream. Be like, okay, babe, don't worry, it's safe with me. I already wrote a blog post about it, though. Don't tell anybody. I'd be like, it's okay, baby.
I wrote a 20,000 word blog post about my journey enjoying Earl Grey iced tea. No, but I feel bad. I feel like I actually sounded like I just slut shamed Daniela, and I didn't slut shame her. Again, I really want to emphasize, like, I think you're right. There's a base level of embarrassment that happens with anyone who comes into this villa. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, but I would be embarrassed if I made out with Aaron too. And that's nothing about slut shaming. That's just choice shaming.
I don't think we can worry about slut shaming on here, because everybody is like stereotypically slutty. Like, you're coming on the show to be slutty. You're coming on the show to make out with people and try different options, which slutty is not a bad word. We're gay people. We love sluttiness. I am slutty, believe it or not. But yeah, it's not slut shaming. It's just people shaming. Well, we're watching TV. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Well, they're gone. She's gone now anyway. They all leave. And now begins so Kaylor and Aaron are safe, but now begins Kaylor's slow descent into a new spiral, which is, I feel like the public thinks that I'm like so stupid. Like, I feel like they think I'm so stupid. I'm like, yeah, we do.
You're literally an idiot. So
yeah, we feel that way very strongly.
Also, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
We feel that way very strongly, Kaylor. Yes.
You are stupid, but you're also very sweet. You know, like, I do like her, but God, girl. But also, I like how she's got this tinge of, it's not just the disappointment, like, America doesn't like me. She's like, but America doesn't like you. You know, she's like, so Aaron, so what do you think this, Aaron, what do you think it is? And he's like, I think they're mad at me because how I treated you. She's like, oh, Aaron. But then she's kind of looking at him like she's maybe got the ick a little bit now, because she knows that he's not as popular with America when she thought she was getting the football, you know, well, not the football captain. I guess Rob would be that. What would he be?
The cheerleader.
The beaver. The guy with the beaver.
He's the guy.
Whatever.
Yeah, he is the guy who like carries like the quarterback's books in the hallway and is like, guess what? There's gonna be a party this weekend. You want to go? He's like, no, man. Got a girl I gotta make out with. All right. Well, I'll give you a ride to that girl.
Yeah, I've seen that movie. So, okay. So yeah, she's like starting to look at him like, we're not going to be as big of influencers as I wanted to be. Do I even like you anymore? Which I kind of liked. So then we have a scene with Rob and Cassie where Cassie's like, so what are you really thinking about? Like, cause like you've been here before. So like, remember me? And he's like, yeah, And it's like, yeah, so like, what do you think about like me taking your spot? Like, did I hook up something? Was like going on with you in the house? And he's like, no, like, actually, it's like so lucky. Like, it's crazy what happened. Cause like, this happened today, which like magically, I just knew to break up with her already. So like, it's like totally not awkward at all.
Yeah. Rob on his sixth couple now, sixth lady in the house. After just claiming that he's just so in love with Andrea. But yeah, he's having a conversation with Cassie and she's like, yeah, I work in interior design. Or he goes, so what are you doing? She goes, sitting here, talking to you.
I'm sitting down.
No, like in life, like you have a job. She goes, oh yeah, my mom works in real estate. And so I do interior design. And he's like, oh yeah, I had a girl help me with my place. Really? My mom. So, oh, that's cute.
I like how she goes, yeah, I'm in interior design. So do you have an apartment? Is it very decorated?
I like when she said that she liked vintage. I was like, I don't think anyone on this cast even understands what that word means. Vintage? You know.
Yeah, because he said, yeah, like a girl helped me, my mom. And like, there's like so much art in there. You know, like when you get, and she goes, vintage? And he's like, yeah. He didn't say that. Why are you projecting vintage onto him? He's like, yeah, vintage. He goes, yeah, I love vintage. You guys don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I would like to see what they're calling vintage. I'll bet it's those like French coffee painting, like Paris coffee paintings, like from Monica's apartment in Friends. What do you call those? Where they're like Paris, and it's like kind of a cartoon drawing of
yeah, it's like Marshall's art. It's like I feel like vintage to them is something that's like green. It's like the keep calm and carry on art from 2012. Like that's
or just something from Marshall's, because like it was new when it was in Dillard's, but then when it got moved to Marshall's, it became vintage or something. You know, it's like whack, their version of vintage.
I guarantee no one on this cast has anything that even remotely resembles vintage in any capacity in their home or wardrobe.
Yeah. So then, you know, Cassie ingratiates herself with everybody. She's adorable.
I like Cassie a lot, actually.
I love her personality.
She has a
she's
good
really
personality.
cute looking, and her personality is, she walks right in there and makes everybody her friend right away, which that's enviable. Really liked her.
But she also is she's like, when you compare it to Daniela, I mean, Daniela was very sweet, but she kind of was an empty vessel. Let's be honest. And Cassie already has just so many more interesting observations about the world around her. I mean, just merely the fact that she does say, I'm really into vintage, already shows a little bit of perspective from her world compared to like Daniela, who was like, I really like Rob. I want to be a vet someday. It's like, okay, well, that's nice, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of a 5-year-old answer of when people are like, what are your goals? I want to help dolphins one day.
I know. And like, of course, like there are people who want to be vets, but just the way she says it just feels kind of like amorphous.
We've all known the people who are like, one day I'm going to save a dolphin. And you're like, oh, okay. She gave me that kind of vibe.
By the way, can I say, Aaron, may I say something?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Of course.
Last night, I was just, I was bored. So I was looking up Love Island headlines and I found a random interview with George, who is in Casa Amor. George was the Asian guy. He was like sort of muscly Asian guy. George was a wide receiver on the UGA football team and he is pre-med and this and this and this. Like he is like if he has such an interesting background and also he is setting himself up for so much success, and I love that he is really like on paper a really great guy, and like literally no one paid him any mind. They're like instead crying over pieces of shit like Aaron or whoever else they were crying over. And you've got this guy who is like star athlete, gonna be a doctor, and it's like, yeah, whatever. It's so Love Island. I'm just voicing my. I'm voicing
so the world though too.
Justice for George.
It's also just so the world.
That's exactly.
Yeah, justice for George. Maybe it's like the name, like George.
I mean,
it's just George. You know.
He was just, you know what? He was too much of a nice guy. That was his problem. And it's like, that's what's just so fucked up about all this. Like George is like a great candidate. Like that is someone that you're like, I've landed like the perfect guy. He's hot. He's hot. He's like a star. He's going to be a doctor. What could possibly be wrong with George?
Well,
That was it.
I'll
That's
tell
my
you.
soapbox.
Yeah. It happens all the time, George. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
this
George.
happened to you, George. Yeah. Be meaner.
You did your best. You did your best.
Yeah, George. Get it together.
Stop being
Okay,
nice.
so stop studying, George. Nerd. So then Aaron goes to have a romantic talk with Rob on the dock, and Aaron just kind of gives a monologue about stuff while Rob eats avocado toast in probably the most disturbing way I've ever seen anybody eat anything. Who
He's a
taught this guy to
psychopath.
eat? He does eat like a psychopath, doesn't he? He acts like he's dismembering the toast as he eats it. He's like dismembering it and is slowly eating it. It's weird looking. It's violent. It's downright violent.
I have a theory that I'm hatching right now. I'm launching. It's a hard launch right out of my brain right now. That most of these cast members have never had avocado toast in their life. And it wasn't until they came to the villa that they encountered avocado toast. And so they have no idea how to truly eat it or even how to make it or what it's supposed
But
to be
isn't
like.
avocado toast like a thing that people do?
Yeah, but so is vintage.
I was going to say, is this like the vintage? But funny. Also, avocado toast is such a thing that now it's like $20. I live in the
wild.
Valley. That is fucking crazy. I saw a place, it was $18 at this place the other day. I was like, for avocados on toast, go fuck yourself.
Let me tell you something.
I'm not voting for any of you. Okay. Nobody is getting my vote.
Let me tell you something. I went to buy some olive oil, like the 47 liter, the big thing of olive oil. It was $47. It was $47 for olive oil. I didn't buy it. I refused. Can you believe that? And it
That
wasn't
is
like,
insane. Well, there
wasn't fancy.
The whole gamut of olive oil is crazy. Like you can get the store brand for like $8, and then you can get like from Italy, but they all say from Italy.
Yeah.
And it's like $100.
I got the store
really
brand.
understand.
The store brand was $23 for the same amount. And you know that the generic brands are often like the fancy brands just put into the generic brand label. Like there's a whole article about how Trader Joe's stuff, a lot of it is brands that we already know, but they have a deal with Trader Joe's that Trader Joe sells them as like Captain Joe's. By the way, do you know about Trader Joe's?
Do you know about yogurt? Have you ever had that before?
Have you ever heard of a pretzel?
Okay, so now basically everyone has been given the directive by the producers that Rob and Leah need to get back together because no one wants to just sit and watch like people be in love. They need some drama. So obviously this is very obvious to me. The producers are like, guys, don't you think Leah and Rob should So
this gaslighting is infuriating to me.
It is
yes.
so annoying. So first of all, and also, yeah, of course she kind of looks at Rob a little bit. Or of course, maybe he looks at her a little bit. They're all hot. And she was dumb. She has that history, but they're all hot people. I think you can probably catch them all looking at each other in some kind of a way because they're fucking hot. Okay.
Yeah. And I really resented Aaron saying, like Leah's clearly still into Rob because, last night she was standing up there and she was looking at Rob the whole time and she had tears coming down her cheeks. I'm like, I know you're not the one saying that.
No, literally, so did you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his coded message of being like, didn't you look around to see who sobbed? Those are the people that loved you.
Those are the people you should take home with you to meet your mother. Please. I'll dress like an angel every day.
Yeah. And Rob's like, yeah, well, if this doesn't work, I'm going to maybe take a break from dating. So then Leah, the girls are trying to talk. Janae and Serena are both talking to Leah about how she's still in love with her. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm with Miguel. And they're like, no, you're not. She's like, yes, I am. She's like, no, you're not. She's like,
yeah, Janae's like, but don't you think that like maybe if you had to choose between the two of them, like, okay, they're both standing up there. Like, which one do you choose? She goes, Miguel. Yeah, but they're both standing up there.
but
Miguel.
Imagine if you were going to get to meet the mommy of one of them, if you could meet Miguel's mommy, or if you could meet Rob's mommy, whose mommy would you want to meet? Miguel's.
I'm like,
And they don't
please.
believe her. And I think, look, if I were Leah, I don't know what she's thinking, obviously, but what I think she's thinking is, of course, she wants Rob, but nobody's getting Rob because Rob is obviously emotionally closed off, right? He's already hurt her feelings. And Miguel, she has good chemistry, but Miguel still gets boners from like any rando who comes in and gives him a lap dance. Like Miguel is pretty obviously going to play whichever side he needs to. You know what I mean? Even though I like him. But I don't think, I think she gets the sense like, I'm probably not Miguel's wife, or like forever girl or long time girl. What do you think?
No. Yeah, I agree. And I think that like the gaslighting of Leah is actually so fucked up. Like it's really fucked up that they made her
ass-lighting because it's about ass. So go ahead.
The ass-lighting of Leah is fucked up though, because first they make her feel bad about her valid reaction to Rob's fuckboyery. Okay, Rob essentially dumps her, and then she is angry, and she goes off, and she's entitled to go off. What she said mean? Yeah, but she was reacting to someone being a dick, and she was saying it like not to his face. She was saying it to her girlfriends. She was venting, and you're allowed to have that. And now the whole house is like, whoa, Leah, that was so mean. And you really do have feelings. You know what? You have feelings for Rob. You definitely have feelings for Rob. This is so obnoxious, especially when she has actually a very lovely situation going on with Miguel. Is it like a forever thing? Probably not. But they really are all over each other. Every time we see around the villa, they're together. They're loving on each other. They're cute. She's giving him boners in the lawn chair, So I just think if Janae had someone come up to her and said, oh, well, Janae, like, it's really cute what you and Kenny have going on, but don't you kind of still love Connor? She'd be infuriated that anyone would be questioning her choice.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but that's what's going on with her. So we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, Miguel could check out at any moment, and maybe they're just like, stay in the game, do something interesting. Who knows? But then we go to the game of the day, which is where people have to play this game called Mr. and Mrs. It's kind of like the Newlywed Game where you write on a board the answer and you have to answer for each other and see how compatible you are, how much you know each other, right?
Yeah.
So they answer a bunch of questions about each other, and it was pretty funny. Serena was asked what Cordell's worst quality is, and she's like short-term memory, like it's memory loss. And his was that she's petty. And they were both right.
Yeah. It was very cute. The whole thing was cute. There was one question. Kayla and Aaron, they were amusing to me because the first question is, what is your favorite animal? And Kayla's choice is a mermaid. And Ariana's like, is that an animal? She goes, well, a mermaid is an animal if you believe it. It's like, no, a mermaid is a mermaid if you believe it. A mermaid is not, is a mermaid an animal? I think a mermaid is not an animal. I think a mermaid is a human variant.
It's an animal hybrid, right?
Okay. Mermaids, animals or humans?
Mystical creature. I don't know. Mythical.
Creature?
Mythical?
Okay, I will allow creature, but I'm not going to say animal.
Lady with the tail.
Well, because also, do people say fish are animals? Fish are fish, but they're animals, right? We're animals. Humans are animals. At the very least, shouldn't the mermaid have been a fish, not an animal? Are fish animals?
Those animals, they move and they do things when they're told to.
I'm gonna look up our fish. I forget. Like, is animal?
I feel
more
like
of an
a fish
umbrella
is
term?
an animal.
I forget. Is animal more of an umbrella term, and then you have like mammal versus fish, et cetera, et cetera. I'm gonna look up.
I think it is
an animal. Okay, a fish is an aquatic animal.
You know what? A question has been asked many times. Is mermaid an animal? Is mermaid considered an animal? Is a mermaid a spirit animal? Do mermaids have pets? What animal is called a mermaid? You guys never stop
I guess we're all animals. Okay, so I was really conflating animal with mammal, so I apologize. But I still believe that in the spirit of what this question was asking.
Well, here you go. Here's one. This is from the Royal Museums of Greenwich. Okay, which I think you'll trust because that sounds fancy, right? These are avocado toast people. What type of animal is a mermaid? And they say a mermaid is a mythical sea-dwelling creature. So there you go. I
Okay, how
said
about
two
this?
of them, right? I said mythical and creature. So I feel like I should win the biggest.
You did say
piece
that.
here.
Okay, I have a question. Is a creature an animal?
No. Not necessarily, but it can be. Let's look it up.
I love where this is taking us.
Oh my God, that's actually a thing. Animals or metazoa are living creatures with many cells. There you go. Animals get their energy from other living things. You know, I've never really thought about it like that, but I guess that's true. Animals get their energy from other living things. That's true.
So I guess ultimately what I have to begrudgingly admit is that if mermaids were real, they could be considered animals. I just don't think it's the spirit of the question. Like if she had said, some sort of like fake animal, like a unicorn. If she said unicorn, I'd be like, okay, well, they don't exist, but if you believe they exist, okay, fine, then that's your favorite animal. But I just don't think of.
The question's not what's a real animal. Name what's your favorite real animal.
This is true. I just don't think of mermaids as animals.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry to all the mermaids out there who had to hear that. Ben is a slut-shaming mermaid hater.
Wait,
so
I am elevating them. Excuse you. I'm saying.
Well, that's
I think
true. Well, you don't believe in them.
Well, sure.
I would be elevated.
Do you believe in
if you were
mermaids?
even real, you fake sluts.
Well, listen.
Yes, I believe in mermaids. I've seen them. They actually have real mermaids now because a bunch of ladies are like, I got divorced. And then they start identifying as mermaids and they go to these mermaid camps and they swim around in those mermaid tails that you can buy at Walmart, you know, the little girls wear. But now haven't you heard of the mermaid movement? It's like a whole thing.
I have. And I'm looking forward to when Kayla eventually joins it. Kayla is going to run off to Florida and swim in a tank as a mermaid for the latter.
Me too. I
half of her
totally
life.
would. I would be into that kind of body positivity, except my thighs already rub up against each other enough without putting a fucking mermaid tail on. So call me when you come up with a better pretend animal for me to be for positivity. Okay, back to the show. Back to this mini 10-minute recap.
I know. I was like, Ronnie, nothing happened on this episode. It'll only be 10 minutes. And now we're going on minute 30 here. Anyway, Kayla believes in mermaids and that's her favorite animal. And it
also gets nasty. They start making them be nasty to each other. Like, who's the ugliest person here? They're like, Aaron. Who's got the dumbest teeth? Aaron. Who's the biggest hooker faced? Kayla. Who's the grossest? Miguel. I mean, this is really mean.
To be rejected. Who's most likely to be rejected from a community of mermaids? Kayla. That's so fucked. So one of my favorite of the mean questions is that like, so Kenny, who do you think is the biggest complainer? And he's like, I don't know, Kayla. And she's like, what? And then it's like, hey, Nicole, who do you think Kenny thinks is the biggest complainer? And she's like, Kayla. She's like, so you guys are talking about it? It's like, girl, you cry every single hour of the day. And she starts to spiral. She really starts to spiral about being the biggest complainer. And then also, by the way, I thought it was funny. They're like, what's the name of Kendall's best friend? And it's like, Chad. It's like, of course, Kendall has a best friend named Chad. Like, I could have just told you that.
I know. We all knew that it was a Chad. You know, we all knew that he worships Chads. So one of the questions was, who's here for the wrong reasons? And Cassie picks Aaron, which also I like that Cassie came in and talked to Kayla and was like, yeah, you know, Aaron, not great. He could do better. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I mean, he wasn't cool. Like, she basically was like, fuck that guy. Like, you deserve better, you know? And Kayla was like, but we're going to do Fuuu roll-up ads together on Instagram.
Yeah, Aaron does not do a great job of dispelling any sort of concerns, because at one point in the episode, which may have happened before the game, he tells her, because she's like, she is still really spiraling that the public doesn't like her. Maybe the public sees something that she doesn't, and he's like, well, you know, guess what? It's like, you know what? Like, we're in a relationship, okay? When we're in a relationship, I don't cheat, okay? And that's fucking ridiculous that people hold that against me. It's like, you don't cheat. I was like, you 100% cheat. We saw it.
Yeah.
We know you do. You're not going to fool us.
Yeah. So the question is, who is here for the wrong reasons? And Cassie's like, Aaron. And Rob is like, you know what? I think I'll just guess myself. And Kayla goes, hey, Rob, you would have picked a better response. And he's like, is that Kayla complaining again?
Oh, whoop. I was like, okay, Rob's best moment of the season so far.
So he chooses Kendall because no one is that happy. And they all start laughing and kind of making fun of Kendall, which is true. Kendall, I think, is probably the only person who is here for the right reasons. I think Kendall's like, oh my God, I get to go on Love Island. I'm going to get a hot wife. And then we're going to have hot kids. We're going to have the hottest minivan. We're going to live in a cul-de-sac.
Oh, yeah.
What's the difference between a stackable washer and a side-by-side? Let's talk about it, guys. Bros. I think
He's
like that guy
ready
is
for that
so
life.
excited. He's already got his fucking grill picked out. He already knows what like brand he wants. Because you know when you get leaf blowers and drills and shit like that, you have to pick the same brand so that your batteries all match each other. Did you know that? I didn't.
I didn't, but I
didn't
believe
think
it. Like
about
as soon as you say it, I believe it. No, Kendall has been ready to launch himself into the suburbs. He showed up at that first episode, which we watched together. He showed up in like khakis and like a blue polo, like tucked in as if he was like going on some corporate retreat for, you know, Allstate Insurance or something like that. He is ready for that minivan.
Yeah, he's ready. He's ready to go. So, yeah, he's there for the right reasons, but whatever. It's just a game. So then they don't win. Nicole and Kendall don't win. Nicole almost starts sobbing. I was cracking up. It's like, Nicole, this is the dumbest game ever, but I guess she's really competitive.
She is competitive.
Really upset.
And she is competitive, but she's also like really close with my dad because the winner of the game gets to basically have a Zoom session with parents. And
please, is there money? I get to call my parents. Wow, great. Is there a cash prize? Is there a Chili's gift certificate? Like, seriously?
So basically, Kayla and Aaron win, and then they choose Kendall and Nicole to come with them, but they also choose Kenny and Janae, right? No, they choose Serena and Cordell as the other couple, and that's where it ends. So tonight's episode, we're gonna meet some of the parents. On Love Island UK, they fly the parents out, but it's a much faster flight to go from the UK to Majorca than it is to go from anywhere in the US to Fiji. So only Zoom sessions for tonight. And then there's really only a few episodes left. The finale's on Sunday. What's probably going to happen is that there's finale's on Sunday. Wow. We're probably going to have a few more eliminations to cut down the cast. There are going to be some final dates. The final dates kind of go on endlessly. It's really not my favorite thing that Love Island does. But hopefully, you know, on Love Island UK last year, they added a new thing they add like an award show, which was kind of like basically movie night all over again. And I'm hoping that we get like another one of those because it's really fun, but there's not a lot of time left. So we're just going to have to see what happens. But, you know, we're going to be here and we'll be recapping all these last final moments of the season.
Well, I guess I can tell you who's going to tell us what's going to happen. Time will tell, okay?
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to yet another day of Love Island Mania. The big episode that aired last night was meeting the parents and the brother. So, Ronnie, what'd you think?
Well, you know, it's a very lovey-dovey episode. I thought the show was going to be more hoey than it is. You know, I've described it as kind of like an exercise in hoery. It's really not. It's very like they're all ready to get married and stuff and like meet each other's parents, and the parents just fall. Like the parents are just as bad as the young people. They just get a little tiny bit of charm and they forgive you immediately. I mean, what the hell? I mean, what happened to a good old mom who can hold a grudge? I need to get my mom on this show. She'll be like, no, fuck you for what you did to my son, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, it was fine. Again, it's end of the season, so the episodes kind of slow down, and then they lean really into the love aspect, because that way, you know, the show justifies itself. Like, oh, people came here to find love. So in the first half of the season is much sluttier the first half, and then the second half after Casa Amor ends, it kind of settles into a less slutty routine. Although on UK, there's like a lot more time after Casa Amor. Like the season continues to barrel on and many more bombshells come in. But on USA, it's kind of like wrapping up. So we're in like the sweet and lovely part, which is like not as interesting, but there definitely was still stuff that was noteworthy about yesterday's episode. And I think even before we got to the parents, the thing that was very noteworthy. Actually, was this before the parents or was it after the parents? But Rob and Cassie had sex in the bedroom with everyone.
I think it was after the parents. I think I think that was towards the end.
It was towards the end. Okay, well, never mind. We can put a pin in that. We can just get right into the parents then, unless there's other stuff that you saw that was.
Well, I mean, it was like you knew that they were going to bang because they were having that conversation where he's like, you got big feet. And she's like, let me guess, you would have guessed that I had bigger feet than I've got. He's like, no, I would have guessed them right. She's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, those two are going to bang. Because that's like, I don't know, that's like Shakespeare on this show, you know? Their foot
totally.
commentary.
You know, I realized I was looking at my totally wrong notes that I wrote down from last night. Oh yeah, the first thing that was most important to me was that during that conversation with Rob and Cassie, they were sitting on the dock and it was nighttime and they decided to look at the moon. He's like, hey, look at the moon. The moon's crazy. As she turns and puts her hands up to her eyes as if they're binoculars and looks at the moon. I was like,
and then he does it too. And he's like, wow, like you can't really see things any closer. But, like, it helps you not look at everything around what you're looking at. She's like, yeah, that's what we're doing. He's like, this is, like, the best moment I've ever had here. This is my best doc moment I've ever had. What the hell? These people are so fucking easy to please.
I know. Also, I'm convinced that putting your making binoculars does not make it easier to see the moon. Like, maybe it blocks out some light. But it's not like putting your hands to your ear, which actually can like magnify sound. It's just her looking at the moon. And the moon is not hard to see, by the way. I want to point this out. It'd be one thing if you're looking at like a distant constellation, but the moon is like, the moon's pretty much there. Like, I don't think you need any special equipment to look at the moon and observe that it looks cool tonight.
Well, in her defense, I think she was just kidding. And then he like took it too seriously and was like, well, at least I'm not looking at things around my fingers anymore. So now I really see the moon. She's like, yeah, this is great. He's like, this is like the best time. I was like, wait until somebody gives him like a bowl of SpaghettiOs and does the choo-choo thing into his mouth. And he just thinks he went around the world on like a vacation. You know, it's fucking, cool? He just trained around the world.
I always thought you just eat SpaghettiOs, but now I realize it's like a trip around the world. It's like pretty amazing.
That's our boy. So Aaron and Kayla have this talk where she's like, oh my God, I've never been away from my mom. And she misses her mom so much. And he's like, she's kind of giving him shit, you know, and she's like, my mom's going to be pissed at you for what you did at Casa. And he's like, well, you can't just change my brain to be the same as your brain because that's what I wanted to do and that's why I did it. This guy is such a train wreck. You cannot, speaking of trains, this guy is such a red flag still. I know that they're like getting along and everything, but it's also because he doesn't have the opportunity to fuck anybody else. There's no one else to fuck. You know what I mean? It's like congratulating somebody for not murdering somebody on death row. Like there's nobody to murder. You're literally just in a cell all day by yourself. You know, you don't get any points for that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that he's probably a narcissist. I think, you know, people say narcissists often like match their personality to like their target. And I feel like that's what he did. Like when he's around Kayla, he matches her kind of like giddy, almost like schoolgirl energy, as opposed to, we saw when he was in Casa Amor, his personality around Daniela was totally different. And so, you know, when he's around Kayla, he does the whole exciting thing where he puts his hands behind his head and he puts his elbows forward. He goes, oh my God, I'm just so excited. We're going to go to the outside world. We're going to like play around and like, we're going to eat pudding and go bowling and do like all the American things. I'm like, so excited with me, your family. It's just like so exciting. It's like, why are you talking? You're an 11-year-old right now. But I feel like it's all kind of a facade. And then like the true Aaron punctures through in moments like this conversation where Kayla is still expressing how she was annoyed by everything. And he's just like, yeah, but I did what I wanted to do. No, you're right. It sucks. But I did what I wanted to do. Oh, I thought we already talked about this. It's like, sorry, this was only a few days ago. You don't get to say this is already done and dusted.
Well, especially when your answer is like, I wanted to. I mean, there's going to be a lot of things that you want to do when you're in a relationship that you're not supposed to do. But, you know, she's like fine with it. And then her mom, Tan Mom. Did her mom look like Tan Mom to you?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
Look up Tan Mom because she's Tan Mom coded. And I thought it was too mean to post it because I was going to post that. And I was like, it feels too mean because this show is like kind of sweet. And like, you know, I guess I don't need to come for someone's mom. But yeah, she does look like You just look up Tan Mom. She's got Tan Mom vibes. Anyway, you were correct what you said before, by the way, about Cassie and Rob hooking up last night. I just wasn't at that part yet. They did already hook up, and the narrator guys like, we're not showing you that because we're a classy show. We're deleting it, all 17 seconds of it.
Yes.
Which I actually believe, 100% believe.
Yeah, I think the only, I mean, I don't personally care whether they have sex or not, you know, they're entitled and good for them. But it just, a lot of people online are laughing about like, they're making memes about, you know, Andrea, you know, Rob made such a stink. I forget, did you see that episode? Were you watching at that point when Andrea went home? I know you've heard about it a million times.
No, I just heard about it.
Someone posted the clip on Twitter last night. Someone was like, there's been no moment on TV that's been as good as this moment. And I like rewatched like a 2-minute clip of Andrea being selected to go home. And it is actually amazing and hilarious to watch. I will send it to you because that's all you need to see is that clip. But the way you don't understand what a big stink and a scene that Rob made about Andrea going home, like crying and writhing and making proclamations and this and that. And he's like, I've never made a connection like this before. I'm going to leave with her. What's even the point of me being in this house? Then he's like, okay, I'll stay because, you know, I should see this experience through. And then meanwhile, new girl comes in and just like has sex with her right away. So, this is not slut shaming. This is Rob shaming for just how fake and how much bullshit he spews at all times.
Yeah, well, Cassie did not give a fuck, and I really liked it. She's like, are you okay today? She's like checking with him. He's like, yeah. She's like, okay, good, because I feel nothing for you. So I just wanted to make sure. I'm just horny, and like, you're literally there, and I saved you, so I got to ride you. So please do not ever call me, okay? And he's like, but you taught me binoculars.
And yeah, I like that she was like, whatever, I'm only here for like a day and a half. The show's about to end. They brought me in to maybe cause some last minute drama. I'm just, you know, I'm horny. She even says, I'm such a horn dog. She's like, I got a trip to Fiji. I got some booty.
Hot guy.
Banged a hot guy.
Well, that's it. That's all I need. Yeah. So then we meet the parents, everybody's parents. Of course, you know, what's her buns is first. Kayla. Sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. I love her sister and brother were like, fuck that guy. Her sister was like, what are you doing with that fucking loser? What is wrong with you? She's like, don't be mean.
She is, I loved that, like, the sister, when she goes, her sister's name is Kata, and she was like, so what do you think about Aaron? And sister goes, I don't like him. Do you actually like him? She goes, Kata!
Yeah. And I don't think the brother liked him either, but he was like, just why are you crying? Just please stop crying. All you do is cry.
Yeah.
And then the mom's like, well, you know, we also got Mimi here. Mimi, say hi. And the Mima's there. And she's like, yeah, fuck him while you got the chance. I mean, listen, he's hot. Jump it. Listen, if there's a fence there, climb it. Trust me. Eventually you're going to be on a land without fences. You know what I mean? Climb it while you got it.
Yeah. And then we like, Aaron's family zooms in and he's like, oh my God, there's my abuela, there's my Abba, there's my Abba. Oh my God, I can't believe I see you guys all together. Oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God, this is so fun. Oh my God. And then they're like, okay, you know, Kayla's like, okay, I'm gonna let you guys have like a private moment. So she walks off and then he's like with his family and she's like, he's with his family. And Aaron's like, yeah, it's been such an amazing experience. And if it weren't for Rob, I wouldn't have been able to make it through it. Like, Rob's just been like the best guy. He's got me through the whole thing. Like, I don't even know what I'd do without Rob. Isn't Rob the best? Abba, what do you think about Rob? Do you think that like if we could go back in time, you could marry Rob and then Rob could be my abuelo? Would that be like the most amazing thing of all time?
It was so funny. The second she left, that he was like, his big love story was Rob. It was so cute. I love those two crazy kids together. Hope it works out. So then, who's up? Okay, Nicole. Ultimately, I just left this whole experience feeling horrible for Nicole. What has Nicole been through? Nicole is so tragic. I just feel so sorry for whatever she's going through. That girl has been so traumatized, and I don't know what it is, but I left like feeling terrible for her. She's like, Mom and Dad, I just like, this is the first person who's not fucked me over and who's ever been nice to me. I mean, yeah, he's Kenny, but I'm going to stay with him forever. You guys proud of me? I finally brought someone home. It's not stealing from me. Or like whatever it was. I was like, what has been done to you? You poor thing.
I know. And, you could tell her mom does not love Kendall because she's like, Kendall's just been like the first really good guy. And the mom's like, yes, he's nice.
The mom looks like somebody who has driven this girl to a doctor so many times that she's just like packing Capri Suns in her mind already. Like, I'm going to have to take care of this girl for another 6 months after her heart gets stomped on yet again, And
then, you know what I loved? Her dad, I don't know if you noticed this, her dad was zooming in front of his like bed, and like he had some crazy bedspread with like a big orange flower on it. And I kind of loved it.
Was he in a motel? That was a motel room, right? That was some weird...
I don't know.
Weirdness.
I just kept on
and the mom was like,
bedspread.
I can't believe I have to be on the phone with your father. Just...
I know. She just looks so uncomfortable with the entire thing. She was uncomfortable with having to pretend to have enthusiasm for Kendall, uncomfortable having to Zoom with the dad, and the dad's there in front of that weird bedspread that I could not stop staring at.
Because that mom has just been through like 3 years of Nicole sobbing every single day and picking Nicole up off the floor for whatever horrible relationship she's been in. And then Nicole's like, Mom, I've got an idea for how to find a man once and for all. I'm going on Love Island. And the mom's probably just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, her dad like texting from the Best Western. Can't wait to see you on Love Island, girl. And then when he met Kenny, he was like, oh my God, Kenny, such a big fan. Kenny, oh my God, Kenny, I love you. Kenny! Can I sign your boob? Love you, Kenny. I love you.
So then, of course, we then meet Kendall's mom. I forgot her name, but
Kendall. I keep calling him Kenny. I'm so sorry. Please feel free to correct me because that's not right. Kendall.
It still works as like a nickname, for Kendall. So, and we all know who you're talking about. It's no big deal. So Kendall's mom is there. So she is so cute. So she has decided that the best angle for her to zoom from is that she's going to prop up her phone or her laptop on the corner of like a dresser. That's where she found her lighting. So she's put it on a dresser and she's going to lean onto the dresser to zoom. And she sounds like Colin's mom from Below Deck Men. She's like, hi, Kendall. How you doing, Kendall?
Yeah, she does have a real high voice like that. And I really like that she's so like elbow forward. I think that, as we age, like different parts of us start looking weird and we just start being thankful for whatever's good. Like for me, it's like my front teeth and my cheekbones. Everything else I try and hide in pictures. And I think for her, it's her elbow skin because I've never seen somebody so elbow forward. And she really likes her bracelet too. So she was like, here's my elbow and my bracelets. Read them and weep, honeys.
You're doing so great, Kendall. We're so proud of you, Kendall. She was just so sweet and smiling at these big, like, sort of gold rimmed glasses. Like, I love you, Kendall. And then his sister comes on.
I thought she looked just like Jill Zarin.
like a very lovely Jill Zarin. Like the promise of what Jill Zarin could have been.
Well, Jill Zarin's so pretty, so I just think looks-wise. I don't think she acted like her, but she looks like her.
Then Kendall's sister came on. I forgot her name. Was her name Taylor or something like that? And she was like,
you heard
hot.
it here first. He's in love with his sister. There, I said it. Did you see the way he was beaming at his sister?
He kept going, Taylor. She's hot, though. I mean, I can understand why. She's gorgeous. And, like, I would not be surprised if Love Island next season is going to cast her. And it's like, I'm Kendall's sister or something like that. But she's just in her room. And, she's thinking to herself, like, I'm the fucking hot one here. And he's the one on national TV with his pick of the litter. And I'm stuck here in the back bedroom helping mom set up her phone so she can zoom on top of the dresser.
Yeah, I'm stuck over here taping mom's elbow skin up while you're off on some fucking island and people are pretending you're hot for 5 minutes. No, he's hot too. But she really is just gorgeous. And he loves his family. I mean, he really is beaming at his family. It's cute.
I actually felt like the family scene for Kendall made him go up in my estimation a little bit. There was something about it. He was so, like, his family was so sweet. And I think the fact that, like, his sister being really hot made me feel like, oh, she was probably like the hot big sister, and she just has her nerdy like little brother who sits and plays video games all day. And I thought to myself, I am so mean to Kendall. I'm like, Kendall drives me nuts. He's so over the top or whatever. And I'm like, but I should have more love for Kendall. And the reason is that we talk nonstop as we recap these shows about people going after bad boys and like the nice guys always finish last. I just had a rant last episode about poor George. And the truth is that, like, I mean, Kendall is annoying, but he is basically on the nice guy side of the spectrum, and he's thriving. And I was like, I should be nicer to Kendall. He still drives me nuts, but I was like, I think I like him a little bit more now.
Do you think that you like him more because a hot person has endorsed him?
Yes.
Because his sister's so hot that you're like, oh, well, she likes him and she's really hot, so I'm going to like him.
Well, I don't know. It's like I saw the whole dynamic playing out. Like I could see him, like I could see her coming over with her friends, like she comes over with the cool girls, and then Kendall is like, he's like the kid in the teen movie. It's like he's like a Kieran Culkin, and she's all that, like pestering little brother, playing like Nintendo off the side. She's like, Kendall, my friends are here. Go to your room. Stop hanging out. You're so annoying, Kendall. And Kendall's like, sorry. Because the other thing is that Kendall, when he was talking with his family, his whole like his lisp came out, like the lisp that Cordell did when he did the striptease, talking like this a little bit. All of a sudden, Kendall had that, and I was like, "Oh, little nerdy Kendall." I think once I saw the real nerd in him, I don't know, I just liked him more.
Yeah, that's I feel like we kind of revert into our young selves when we're around family, which is. Sorry, I hit the mute button on accident. We revert to ourselves when we're around family, and that's why I try not to be around my family too much in public, because I just turn into like a chain-smoking 5-year-old again. Like, fuck you, mother! I'll have snacks when I want to have fucking snacks, all right? Nap time, snap time. But yeah, it was cute seeing really everyone with their families, because everyone comes from like, I don't know, give me hope in families. Because I don't know, there has to be like at least one family that's like chain smoking, like, fuck you, little hula.
That's Kaylor's family.
We knew you were going to amount to nothing.
Well, that's Kaylor's family, except they're being nice on TV. Like, Kaylor was so proud of you. Well, the other thing is that Kaylor's mom has been posting on Facebook. I think you saw this too, right? You saw this, right? Did you see this?
No.
Kaylor's mom has been posting on Facebook being like, she's like, this is wild. Kaylor never says the F word. And she's saying it all over. The Kaylor I know would never say F bombs. And Aaron, you know what? They have a beautiful relationship, but it will ultimately be a friendship because Kaylor will not stand for everything that he does. This is not the Kaylor that I know. Once she gets out of the house, she basically is like, I fucking hate Aaron. And my daughter is acting crazy, and I want her to come home and we can knock some sense into her.
Yeah, well, good mom. It's a nice sound with the mom, because that's basically how the rest of us feel, So it's glad to see that someone's at least willing to stand there and hit somebody over the head for their child. Mm-hmm. Because fuck that guy.
Yeah. That honestly, like, Aaron is truly the worst. And also, by the way, I saw Liv was on someone's podcast, and I think she was on the Smith sisters actually, and she was like, well, as soon as Kayla gets out of the house, she's gonna see Kirsten more, and she's not gonna like it whatsoever. And now my opinion of Aaron has totally changed, and I think Kayla's gonna dump him. But we all know Kayla's not gonna dump Aaron.
I think Kaylor might dump Aaron because, they have a whole world open to them now that they didn't before, like they're coming out to having zillions of followers. Yeah. Like I just read Leah had like 10,000 followers when she went on the show, and now she's over 1 million or something crazy like that.
That's crazy.
So they come out and they have all of these options, and she's going to watch his show, and she's going to have all these people like, why are you with this loser? And then he's going to have all these options. And that guy, the minute that's like me in a Costco. I mean, I say I'm on a diet, but there's all these old men handing out samples. I'm going to eat the samples. You know what I mean?
Aaron will be sampling.
Aaron will be sampling. He's going to have some gelatinous chicken running down his face, and we all know it.
And don't forget, he is a deckhand. So we know about deckhands. Then the final duo.
Got the dicks in their hands at all times. I just want to say one thing to Kendall and his family. Kendall, one thing I would suggest to you, if you can hear me out there, less House of the Dragon. Less House because you're clearly in love with your sister. Okay, go on, Ben.
He will really understand that reference too. So then finally with Serena goes comes in. She talks with her sister, her brother, and her niece, and that's nice. And then Cordell joins. And so before Cordell joins, two things are funny. First of all, I feel like, in terms of things that I really enjoy, they do a lot of cutaway shots of Cordell watching ping pong. And when Cordell watches ping pong, he watches it in the most cartoony way. Like his head literally goes left and right like a cat. Like I feel like if I watch ping pong, I might do like a subtle like eye movement left and right to follow the ball. He literally is like this, like left, right, left, right.
I got that.
So
He watches it like a cartoon, which is really funny. He's funny because he's nervous that he's too stupid for her family. Like that's what which is fair. He's on. I love someone who can be honest with themselves. But he tells his friends, he's sitting there watching them play ping pong, like you said, and he goes, they're like, "Are you nervous?" He goes, "Yeah, like." How do I sound like no dumbass? I'm like, well, you're not off to a great start.
I know. And Leah sits down with him and goes, okay, so when you talk to them, don't mumble. There are times in life when you can mumble. Don't mumble. This is not the time to mumble.
And then he shows up and he's like, fuck yeah, I fucking love you, fucking fuck, guys. Fuck
shit, I just fucked up. Oh shit, I just fucked up. Oh my God, what a fucking shit disaster I am. I was like, what are you doing? The moment he said that, I was like, what? I can't even believe this. You're talking like this in front of Serena's family. And then Serena's brother immediately was like, hey, don't curse in front of my sister and my niece. He's like, oh shit, sorry, fuck me.
I like that the brother was trying not to like him, but he did like him. You could tell that he really did like him. And he's so sweet. How can you not like him? Well, her family was great. And totally sweet. You can tell where she came from because she's also great and sweet. And then his family was pretty great and sweet as well. There was a tinge of disappointment that they didn't get to talk to anybody famous when his family came on. But then she left, and then he did get to talk to somebody famous, his brother, which made me kind of sad for him because just the excitement that his famous brother was talking to him. And then when he announced that the brother wanted to speak to her, everyone was so excited that she got to talk to the real star. And I was like, how does this guy ever feel truly loved? You know what I mean? Like, does Julia Roberts' family feel like that?
Well, maybe there's a reason why Eric Roberts and Julia Roberts never really got along, I think that...
or maybe because he was yelling at people naked in the sauna in the gym at Hollywood Boxing Gym, because I saw that happen one time. Yeah,
never forget that story. But I think, it was funny to me that Cordell is like, yeah, dating is hard for me because I never know if the girl wants to know me or my famous brother. And then as soon as OBJ is like, I want to meet Serena, he's like, hey, everyone, my famous brother wants to meet Serena.
And they're like, oh my God. And he's like, Serena, hurry. And she's like, I'm coming. And she's like, hi.
OBJ. But OBJ and Cordell are so exactly big brother, little brother, right? Like OBJ, super famous football star, hulking body. And then you've got Cordell, who's just small and scrawny. I think Cordell's only 5'8", but he really reads on camera like he's much shorter because his shorts are always up really high. And he's just sort of this cute little guy. It's to me, they have such a funny, imagining the two of them together is so adorably cute to me. I told my friends, it reminds me of Frog and Toad, and they are so sweet. But I also couldn't help but notice that OBJ was kind of Odell Beckham Jr. for those who aren't following. There was an element, a little bit of establishing pecking order. He's like, man, it's crazy. I mean, I was at Michael Rubin's white party in the Hamptons and everyone was like, your little brother's on TV. And I was like, I know. I was like, pass the caviar for a moment. Oh my goodness. Hi, Heidi Klum. Yes, my little brother is on a reality show. Anyway, you've got to come to my football game down in Miami where I play professionally, as is my right as a celebrity. Anyway, enjoy your time on Love Island.
Yeah, there definitely was that where he's like, wow, it's crazy because I'm a rich celebrity and people know who you are now. And it made me so proud of you that you're on this, whatever this is that you're doing. I mean, that is so great. Good talking to you. See you never, loser.
I know. You got to come down to the Dolphins game. I'll put you up in the third tier of the stadium.
Serena, great to meet you. Cordell will give you my autograph. Cordell, go ahead and sign my autograph. You remember how you practiced it all those years. Okay, bye, losers.
OBJ was like, yeah, I will come on to Love Island, but I will not talk to any other families. Thank you. I want to have my own Zoom session. I will not even appear on the same screen as my father or my godmother.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to deal with that. He's like, well, it was nice to talk to you, Serena. Congratulations on dating basically the representation of pickleball in the family. Okay, I'll see you later.
Sorry, I have a red carpet event for a real A-list experience coming up, so see you later.
Yeah,
so that's...
But that was cute. It actually was sweet,
so
you know. And then, let's see. So then one of the cutest things that Serena's family said was, you know, it's nice to see you and the guy or whatever, but the really cool thing is your friendship with Leah and Janae, and, you know, those girls are our sisters. We're like giving them the sister pass because they are like your sister, and we love how they took care of you. And then she goes and tells them, and they all start sobbing in each other's arms. I was like, drip. I mean, it was like the first time in a while my eyes hadn't just been crusty and dry. You know, I was like, oh my God, why is it raining on my eyes?
And why is it because of Love Island, of all things? Why does Love Island make me emotional?
It gets me, and I know why it gets me, because music gets me, and it's a musical. Yeah. It's like my favorite thing. Like, I still remember the musical TV show Rags to Riches from when we were kids.
I loved it.
I mean, and that was the same thing. It was all covers. You know, there weren't original songs, but it was like, oh gosh, that's what this show is. How could I live without you? Like when Serena's looking up at the screen to OBJ. How do I dream without you?
But tonight during the elimination will be like, how could I live, dun dun dun, without you, dun 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 dun.
It's gonna be like, dun 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 dun, 8777. Cars for kids. Dun, 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 dun. 8777. Cars for kids.
So yeah, it was a pretty chill episode. Fun to see the families. You know, there was the Rob thing with Cassie, which is only significant just because he talks so much shit about Andrea. I'm really excited to see how this all shakes out. I wonder if there'll be a reunion. I wonder if we'll see Rob and Andrea being reunited, how he's going to sit and all that. But tonight, it looks like a couple is going home, America's least favorite couple. I mean, based on previous track records, it may be Kayla and Aaron, but who knows? That'd be wonderful if they got sent home. That'd be really, really lovely. We'll find out.
Yeah, I hope it's not Lee and Miguel, because they have conversations like, hey, I can't believe that was your answer about the best subject in school. And he's like, yeah, PE. She's like, that's not even a subject. He's like, yeah, it is. I was like, these two are meant to be together.
I know. People are really mad that they don't get a lot of scenes because people are like, they are so cute together. And the fact that not CBS, that Peacock is not really, highlighting them, it's like not fair in terms of public votes. But I think that Kayla and Aaron are so deeply annoying that they're probably going to be the ones that go home. I can't imagine who are the people who are voting for Kayla and Aaron, unless they just are enjoying like the camp value of them. But I can't, like, who out there is like, I'm a Kayla fan? Like, honestly, who out there is really standing for this duo? Please explain
blonde
yourself.
White people. Like, who do you think? They are in love with other blonde white people who sit around talking about their relationship and crying about it. I mean, we're all trained to love this. Like, how many stories in our time are like cute, like the cutest blonde people in school together? Yeah. Then he fucks her over, and then she sobs, then he apologizes. He's a cad, but then they end up together, and then they both get, really fat and and he's cheating, and it goes to misery. We love it. It's a good old fashioned all American raise him up and tear him down story.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out, and the truth is that by the time we check in next, the finale will have aired Sunday night. We will know who wins the whole thing. I mean, the winning of this show is so, it's like no one really cares about who wins the show, but it's fun to think about. I think right now, Cordell and Serena will win, and I think if not them, it would be Kenny and Nicole. I mean, Kendall and Nicole. See, I did it too, Ronnie.
You think Kendall and Nicole? You don't think Kenny and Janae have a chance, huh?
They might. I just feel like they're not getting as much airtime. I feel like Kendall and Nicole are getting a lot of airtime, and I don't know. But I think.
But why
Serena,
do you even not to be rude? But why do you even win this show? I don't get it. Like, you don't do anything. It's just it's like a popularity contest on who likes you, like who's the most liked by America. That's so weird.
Yeah, kind of. It's like there's usually some sort of bullshit at the end where it's like, okay, you guys have been chosen as the best couple, but one last thing. You guys can either stay together or you guys can get like $100,000. And which do you vote for, to stay together or go for the money? But they never go for the money. At least I haven't seen them go for the money.
Well, if they were smart, they'd break up, get the money, and then just get back together and go take a trip with $100,000. I mean,
clearly.
What do I have to do everything around here?
We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, we sure will. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here this week. We will be back Monday for the season finale recap of Love Island.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Stroll in the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
She's never scary. It's the Green Fairy.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying. It's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. We want to hang with Liz Lang. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Ring that bell for Rachel.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
If you like Watch What Crappens, you can listen ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
I'm Dan Taberski. In 2011, something strange began to happen at the high school in Leroy, New York.
I was like at my locker and she came up to me and she was like stuttering super bad. I'm like, stop around. She's like, I can't.
A mystery illness, bizarre symptoms, and spreading fast.
It's like doubling and tripling, and it's all these girls.
With a diagnosis the state tried to keep on the down low.
Everybody thought I was holding something back.
Well, you were holding something back intentionally.
Yeah.
You know, it's hysteria. It's all in your head. It's not physical. Oh my gosh, you're exaggerating.
Is this the largest mass hysteria since the witches of Salem? Or is it something else entirely?
Something's wrong here. Something's not right.
Leroy was the new Dateline, and everyone was trying to solve the murder.
A new limited series from Wondery and Pineapple Street Studios. Hysterical. Follow Hysterical on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of Hysterical early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. We know the 6 wives of Henry VIII as pawns in his hunt for a son, but their lives were so much more than just being the king's wives. I'm Arisha Skidmore-Williams.
And I'm Brooke Sifrin. And we're the hosts of Wondery's podcast, Even the Royals. In each episode, we'll pull back the curtain on royal families past and present from all over the world to show you the darker side of what it means to be royalty.
We rarely see Henry VIII's wives in their own light, as women who use the tools available to them to hold on to power. Some women won the game, others lost, but they were all unexpected agents in their own stories.
Being a part of a royal family might seem enticing, but more often than not, it comes at the expense of everything else, like your freedom, your privacy, and sometimes even your head. Follow Even the Royals on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. Go deeper and get more to the story with Wondery's top history podcasts, including American Scandal, Legacy, and Black History for Real.